It is working to go live. All right, there we go. It looks like we are live. Perfect. Let's see. Hi, Jackie. Good morning. Hi, folks that are in. Thanks for joining our live today. Hey, Russ. Katie Crafts. Happy Sunday. I hope everybody's having a good weekend. It's been a very good weekend. I actually got to yesterday watch a lot of my favorite YouTubers do their thing, and I feel like I like for the past month I haven't been able to do that, so that was fun. Um, as you can see, I have Ingrid joining me today to sew up the building blocks, which is Legit Kit's free pattern download. Um, and we're gonna Jackie had said that she received her kit, so we'll get to do that. We'll get to do the free pattern with the kit, just like Ingrid. I'm switching things up a little bit. I went with a art gallery fabric bundle I had, um, which was called Harvesting Edition, and it didn't quite have the same number of SKUs of fabric as the pattern called for. So for something like, here we go. For BW or BU rather, I made that into 3. So it's taking the place of 3 colors, WP and PW. Just where I felt like it made sense because I had 2 or 3 colors less. So, and Ingrid and I actually we were talking about it before we got on, about coloring pages, because Ingrid, if you want to, you were talking about wanting to change up the colors too. I'm putting you on the spot. You get to talk.
That's okay. Yeah, I wanted to change up the colors, but the way my brain works, I need to have it in front of me. So what I did was, and what I'm planning to do is, I just printed out the cover page in grayscale, and then I'm going to trace over it to sort of make my own coloring page so I can doodle on it, and then I'll make copies of it and have it to play with some different colorways. But yeah, so for me, I need to see it visually before I put it together. I can't.
Make those changes. Yeah,
Yeah.
we
I
made the
can't.
as we were talking about it. I know both ways are still manual, so like it would have to be something you did to put together. But if you from the assembly guides, if you wanted to out there in YouTube world, wanted to take the assembly guide and use and maybe like cut it and put those together and make that your coloring page, you could do that too. Since as of right now, Legit Kits doesn't have a coloring page in their kits. That could be another way that you could do it because it has all of the color codes based on the kit on it,
Yeah.
to give you kind of an idea. Um, I can see where that might also, having the color codes on it might get confusing when you're trying to do your own. So I don't know. Get creative out there until unless they're going to add a coloring page. I hadn't really thought of it because I just kind of winged it because I stink at color anyway. So I just took each grouping from the listing of the colors and was like, that's a good range. That works. I kept orange, orange, and red, red, and worked from there. Hi, Shelly and Letitia and Heidi and Tamla. Yay! Of course, it's okay to hang out even if you're not legit kitten. You could be doing anything. Hi, Melissa. Did I say Melissa? I'm worried I miss a name sometimes. You can be watching football since there's early morning football. They're out in Frankfurt this morning, which is cool. the Chiefs and the Dolphins, I'm pretty sure. You could be just having a cup of coffee, a mimosa. It is brunch. But I am going to go ahead and talk a little bit about how I organized for this morning, because I didn't do it the same way as I would a big, like a whole like legit kit, just because I was doing it differently. So I went a little differently. What I did was just cut up A1 block and then stacked my pieces, the different units that I'll be sewing together into sections that I'll be sewing together into the entire block, and lined them up on the fabric. I started with, the 2-piece ones. This just has 2 pieces of fabric because that's always easiest, and I like starting nice and easy and built my way back. And I'll stack it up. So this, these 2 are here. This one has these 2. And as we go back, I'm waiting, like the YW is in this first piece. So I'll move YW back to this after I cut it. I feel like that makes so much sense in my head, and I don't know that it makes a lot of sense as I just said it. But as I start cutting the fabric, I'll show you what I'm doing. Because yeah, I've done it so much now and worked it out in my head on how I'm going to do these things, that yeah, I don't know that I can explain it with words the same way as I can explain it as I'm showing it off. So
will you be able to do sort of how you changed your colors as you go through?
How I changed the
Sorry.
Other than what I just said, that was it. That's what I did. I kept orange, and red, and then filled out color, I guess, value, maybe. Like I tried to keep darks dark and lights light, and played around with what I thought looked good together, where they came together on the pattern. But there wasn't a lot of rhyme or reason to what I did. I knew, because this was a bundle together, that all of them were going to look okay together. So I wasn't just pull and stash. Like, this was a curated bundle. So I felt pretty confident it was going to look okay to start with. But yeah, that was the thought process that went into it. There were a couple of colors, the red and the orange, that was straight red and orange from the pattern. So I started there and just played around, and we'll see if my winging it works out. Often it does. Sometimes it bites me in the tush.
It's funny. I really wasn't in love with the colors in the picture, but looking at the fabric, I am really liking all of the different colors now, seeing them in person.
I think the one that, from what I've heard and from what we talked about at boot camp, the one that everybody wants to change is the bright pink. Like, nobody was really feeling the bright pink for like, whatever reason. I mean, I'm just not a pink person, so yeah, the dragon fruit color, I think it's the QF.
Yeah.
Yep, that was the one everybody was like, well, I'd change that one.
Well, and that's funny because it's the biggest piece too.
Yeah, and I think it's because it's the one that is the most in your face, that was the color that they did, because it's used the most within the thing, or the blocks are the longest. So I don't know. What did I change QF to? This is what I changed. Have I used it yet? Is it still? So I still went bright with a bright yellowy orange for QF. Well,
that's nice.
Yeah, I think it'll work out. We'll see how it goes. Okay. Melissa is here. Hi, Kelly's Quilts and Cruises. Good morning. I'm going to go ahead and start cutting. I'm going to go in my thought of start with what you have, and I'm not going to use a rotary cutter for the first couple blocks. I may switch over to rotary cutter just to show both ways. But to start off, I'm just going to start with a pair of scissors and the fabric and the first two-piece unit that I pulled, which is A1B. And then key A is the largest piece, so I'm going to cut that one first. And I try to, with all of the units, I try to cut in order. So I'll do 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and layer the fabric as I cut upside down. So it's from the last number, the highest number, to the lowest number, and then flip it over to lay on top of my block so I know I'm done, and pin it if I'm pre-cutting. If I'm not pre-cutting, if I'm just going as I'm going, I still end up doing that because it's muscle memory now, and it works well.
Helps keep everything in place too.
Yeah. I am a wretched preparer of fabric. I will go through phases where I will iron and starch everything, or acorn, you know, that like non-starch starch thing. But usually I just want to get into it, and I don't do any of that. So very much like that today, I'm just going from the fat quarters. If I'm at an area where I'm trying to cut and it's going over a crease, I'll iron it out as I'm going. Otherwise, nah. And plus, I like when things like this happen. Like this piece of A1B1 fits in this nice little rectangular piece perfectly. So now I can just cut out that little rectangular piece and be perfectly happy. And Ingrid, you're starting with the kit.
I am. Yeah. Do you want to see an adorable puppy?
I, of course, want to see an adorable puppy. Oh, hello, Mr. George. And he's he blends into his little gray bed.
Yeah, yeah. He did have one eyeball open looking at you.
Ingrid, are you a take a look at the pattern and start with the easiest pieces first, legit kitter, or FPPer for any other pattern, or do you start like A1, A2, A3, A4?
So sometimes I think it depends on the mood that I'm in. Sometimes I will. So sometimes I will go with the easiest blocks, like if it's a two-piecer, just so that I can see some work, some accomplishments in front of me. Other times I am just about sticking to being in order.
Yeah.
Just depends, you know, how my OCD is acting.
It is so nice though, like exactly what you said, to have a piece that is easy, just a couple of pieces of fabric sewn together, but it's the finished block, and then you can say that's a whole block done. Done, check that off.
Yeah,
it's nice to be able to do that.
Something to be said for that in anything in life, right?
Yeah.
I need to see something accomplished, and then I feel better and more motivated to continue on.
Yeah. Oh, I just love art gallery fabric.
Oh, it is so soft, and it just is so pleasant to work with.
There's another super soft one out there too that I can't remember what the other really buttery soft.
I don't know. I can't help with that.
It's gonna kill me thinking about it. There was another one that folks say it was even softer. Oh, maybe Liberty. Maybe Liberty's the one that's also really soft. If anybody has their favorite for softness, let me know. Let us know in the chat. I think it's Liberty, but I could be wrong.
The soft factor.
Yeah. The feel good factor. All right. Do I have my machine on? I do. Look at that. I even turned my machine on before we started. Woohoo!
Which one are you working on today?
Arnie.
Arnie.
The TL. Love my Juki.
Sure. I haven't named any of mine.
It's
Thought about it.
yeah. I hadn't named the OG. The one I started all of this crazy journey with. But Arnie just makes me giggle, so do I have a card? Yes, I do.
Yes, I love the choice of name that you picked for Arnie. And it's so fitting.
Yeah. I picked all right, Kelly. Liberty is lovely. Okay. Yeah, that might be the one. But I picked so Terminator 2 is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger isn't particularly like one of my favorite actors or anything. And I use the term actor loosely. But that movie is one of my all-time favorite movies. I guess it was just I saw it in theaters at the right time, at the right age, just it's just one of those things where it just makes it one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
And there's a part in that movie where Sarah is watching her son John play with Arnie, the Terminator, who is a good Terminator now, is there to protect her son. And she talks about how it is so funny and ironic that it's turned out that the one man she can count on is a machine. And so I thought it was fitting that my new mechanical machine is called Arnie.
I love it. That's awesome.
Too silly. Hey,
Okay.
Fallon, how are you doing? So Liberty is super soft too. Okay. Awesome. Oh, did I miss something Shelly said? Oh, just that Liberty is super soft. Okay. Cool. How's it going, Fallon? Oh, for the free pattern, I just went ahead again with the starting with what you have piece of starting FPP. I just put it out in draft like quality, not the best quality print from my printer, just draft quality on regular printer paper. And then shortened my stitch length down to 1.1 because I'm crazy. I would not recommend doing that if it's your first time FPPing because if you have to change, if you maybe picked up the wrong color and put the wrong color on, seam ripping 1.1 on paper is absolutely a lesson in patience that I have still not learned. It still drives me crazy. You'll see me sometimes, like when I was doing the 4S pattern last week, where I'd put two colors together wrong. I'd forgotten to put the middle, and I said, well, I'm just putting that to the side. I'm not even going to touch it right now. I don't even want to deal with the fact that it's so short. Georgette from Knoxville. Oh, I was just in Tennessee a couple weeks ago. Yes. Okay, Jackie. Very good. Yeah, I want to make sure. So this is the first piece we're sewing together. And because we're using solids, you don't have to worry about right sides or wrong sides. You just need to worry about placing them together close enough to a quarter of an inch, or a half an inch if you're just beginning. But when you start, so A1, piece 1 on this B section is going to, your first piece is always, you're laying your fabrics on the back side of all the printing, all of the words, all of the sew lines, all the stuff that you can see on whatever kind of paper you have it printed out. You're actually working with your fabric on the other side. So you're working in mirror, kind of backwards of everything. So you're going to place your fabric, the first piece of fabric, face up on the blank side of the paper. That's going to be face up. So if this was a print or directional, I know directionals are printed too, but you know what I mean. This would be facing up where you're laying the fabric, which is not where you're sewing the fabric, but where you're laying it on. And then this second piece lays on top of it, which if we were traditionally piecing with printed fabrics would be right sides together, pretty sides together, however you want to say it. And then for me, what works for me is I fold the paper back. So I make sure that next piece, I do the feel test a lot. I make sure I can feel that second piece of fabric past where I can see where it needs to line up on the paper. Then you're looking at it from the sewing side. So piece 1 would then be wrong side or ugly side, or however you want to call it. That to sew it then would be wrong side up to you to sew the pieces together. And the second piece would be right side up to you when you're sewing it on the printed side of the paper. If I have to re-explain, let me know. I know it's a lot of moving pieces. But with solids, you don't have to worry about that. Right sides, wrong sides. You're just going to place your piece 1 covering at least a quarter inch into across your sew line for piece 2. And then you're going to line up your piece 2 fabric with your piece 1. And this is the back side of where the sew line was sewn. So you're going to make sure they line up and then sew your sew line. And then we'll flip it and iron. So it's always sew, flip, iron. Siffy? Oh, that doesn't sound good. That sounds like slang for something you don't want. Let's see. Place, sew, flip, iron. Nope, that doesn't sound good either. I said it in my head and I said, no, I'm not saying that out loud. So we'll just say the words instead of the acronym. Sometimes you just don't need an acronym.
We'll have to work on that.
Yeah.
Come up with something that's not inappropriate, but that's hard with the 12-year-old minds that we have.
I'm such a child.
Doesn't help that my nephew's egging that on and giving me additional.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a bad influence. I'm gonna be such a bad influence as a grandmother one of these days. I'm looking forward to it. because I am working on just regular copy paper, I'm not quite as worried about the Acorn Easy Press liquid going through. But what I will do often is put the Easy Press on this side of it. So it's actually 3 pieces of fabric. So I'll pre-flip it, put the Easy Press stuff on. So it's 3 pieces of fabric that it'd have to go through to get to the paper. I just don't want any of the ink to come through. I don't want to warp the paper too much. But you shouldn't be using so much Acorn Easy Press that you're soaking. If it's soaking, you need to change the nib, or you need to slow your roll on how much you're using. Good morning, Tangle Zest, and hey Mona, how's it doing? How you doing? How's it doing? How's it doing?
That works too.
Mona said hi to you too. Marla.
Hey, Mona. I just saw you on Zoom yesterday. I joined Mona on her Zoom.
Oh, fun.
Not on YouTube, just a Zoom.
Just a Zoom. Very cool. All right. So there is A1B all done. And I'll trim it up later. We're just going to go with colors. Oh, yay! Oh, I love green. It makes me so happy. All right. So I'm going to move on to the second piece. I'll just leave that up there.
Are you doing? Oh, you're not. Which one are you doing next?
The other 2-piece one, which is A1A. Because, like you were saying, I just love the instant gratification of 2 pieces of fabric.
Yeah. What I love about this one is so many straight lines.
Yes. So many straight lines.
Not going to be a lot of issues with a bunch of seams intersecting, I don't think.
No, there's 2 places in the whole pattern where there are intersections that have the potential for having some bulk from seams. Only one of them is an angled, like a mitered corner. So it is pretty much just straight, and only, the 2 pieces of, so like 4 pieces of fabric coming together like you would normally have in traditional piecing. There's not too many places where multiple seams are coming together.
That's good. Well, as you were saying, can't remember if it was your podcast or what, but you were saying that this is a really great pattern for everybody of all levels to work on your skill with getting things lined up correctly, like as far as using directional fabrics, or even just using something that's not a solid that you need to make sure that you're not putting it upside down.
Yeah, you got to think about.
But then having I think you had mentioned stripes.
Yes.
That blew my mind. I'm thinking that is such a challenge that
yes,
someday.
Because you really, really have to think about where those stripes are going to meet in the next section. And yeah, so it really, the pattern pieces, the pieces for each of these blocks aren't necessarily challenging. A lot of straight lines, like we were just talking about, not a whole lot of bulk in where the seams come together. But if you're an FPP champ and you want to push yourself, the types of fabrics you choose could make this something crazy that I haven't even dreamt of using it yet.
Yeah. But it's really it's gonna be a fun pattern to play with. Mona, yes, that's the other Katie that you didn't see yesterday. Oh, he's gone now. They don't stay around for very long.
Oh, I'm gonna scroll up. I think I missed some chatter. Let's see. Oh, Fallon did do this one. Oh, but struggled. Fallon, let me know if you're able, as we're going through, like where you had some of the challenge. It does turn out pretty, but yeah, I'm interested to know, because I as much as I try to think about all the places that can be gotcha places, I know I missed some. So let me know where you were finding yourself. Hey, Judy. Tangled Zest is saying she must object. She has matured over the past 20 years and now has the mind of a 12 and a half year old.
That's
Almost awesome. A teenager. Georgette, I didn't pre-order the Kraken. The Kraken was all of the new certified instructors were tapped to be testers for the Kraken. So we all got to be the testers before it got released for pre-sale. So I actually, that's my upstairs project that I'm working on, my conference call project. It's gorgeous. All of the purples are so beautiful. I love it so much.
The colors are just fabulous.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so much fun. Mona, I'm actually using Glide thread. It came with the TL when I ordered it. Like they test out where, so I got it from Juki Junkies, which is Gigi's fabric shop, Juki Junkies, either one, and you'll find all of their things. And they test them out before they send them out, and they do that with Glide. So Glide was like in the machine, so I just ordered it with it. I like how shiny it is when a lot of folks will use Glide for embroidery because of how shiny it is. I don't know if you can see. It's like really shiny. I think it's pretty. But what I also like is that it does not what's the not fray. What is the word that I'm looking for that cotton does? Because Glide is not a cotton.
That is like fear. I don't know. I know what you're trying to say, but
the lint action. It doesn't have all that lint action. So we're gonna test it out and see how I like it or not. Arnie, I do like to use monopoly filament for FPP because I'm still the very aggressive ironer. I do not press. I can't even pretend to say that I press. I iron. But Arnie does not like the monofilament. I've had to give up. He doesn't like it at all. Oh well. So we're going with Glide, which I've liked very much. I'm using it for the 4S collaboration. Yeah, I've liked it. Linty, yes, the lint. That's what I couldn't. Fray was the only word that was coming to my head for some reason.
I could only think of dust.
Yeah. yeah. Thread dust. Yeah. Oh, you've used very cool, Mona. Yeah, I love Juki Junkies. And I like that you're trying out Glide too. It's pretty cool. I like it. I may end up going back and getting the Glide in the thinner. Okay, so for threads, the higher the thread number, the skinnier it is, right? So this is Glide 50, which is like Aurifil 50. I want to try the Glide 80 because Wonderfil is the 80 that I was using for the Juicy Juice Christmas fabrics that I was doing. Oh no, did Ingrid freeze? Oh, there we go.
Right.
You were frozen there for a second.
Oh, did I? It says I'm unstable.
Thanks, Zoom. Thanks for pointing that out. Oh no. Oh, Ingrid and internet are not playing nicely together. Judy, yes, I do have glide in the bobbin as well. So both top and bottom. Ooh, Kelly, you had breakfast too. I've never been a breakfast eater. My dad wasn't either, or still isn't. He does a protein little thing in the morning now, but we've never been big breakfasty peoples. Oh, there you are, Ingrid. Yay!
Sorry. I got number 2 done.
Excellent. I was chatting. I haven't cut the fabric yet. Is it lined up? Okay, yeah, you can see. So I'm lining it up on the edge and just rough cutting. Not too precise, just some rough cuts.
Sometimes in this room, my Wi-Fi will connect to my brother's next door. Just because of like when I bring my computer in here, just because I'm closer to his house. I don't know.
Oh, that's funny.
So I was on his Wi-Fi, and that's why it was unstable
Oh, gotcha.
for telling me I'm unstable. Rude.
I know, right? Zoom needs to mind its business.
Don't be sharing my stuff.
Okay, so that's RA. I know that's in one of these guys. So what I was talking about earlier, where I will stack each grouping up of the different units that I'm going to put together into different sections that go into the entire block. I put this grouping A1G underneath A1A because I am using the YW, which I already was saffron. I think YW is like Grello or something like that in the naming. So this piece is using YW. This piece, this little section also needs YW, so it's next up in the line. It's the next one to do because once I cut it for A1A, I can then put it in this pile to cut for A1G. And that's just how it makes sense in my noggin to do. I need to get those little stickers and write like the little tiny ones and write the color substitutions that I'm doing.
Oh, that's a good idea. Now, the stickers that Legit Kits uses, I imagine that these are not, there's not super sticky.
They're not, which is cool.
But they're not, they don't ever leave a, um, you know what I'm trying to say.
Like a film or, yeah.
Yeah, they don't leave any sort of residue on the fabric, so it must be a.
I'm not sure if it's just like an Avery label or.
Yeah, I wonder.
I should have asked when I was there.
Well, honestly, get together, you should ask.
Yeah.
Is it just with the instructors that you got together monthly, or is
Yeah.
it the powers to be?
No, it's the instructor monthly. I'm excited. We have our first meetup now that we're like a month out of being instructors.
That's awesome. So as more instructors come on board, will they also join your monthly meetings or will they have their own?
Um, we're a year away from that happening, so I have no idea.
Okay.
Yeah, there's so much time between then and
Got it.
I'm not sure.
Got it. Got it. Nobody cares right now.
Yeah, we're not thinking about that yet. I mean, I would assume I would want to. I would want to hear what their ideas are and, with our ideas, but
Yeah.
they're not even thinking about that yet.
So they will do it yearly. It'll be an annual instructor course.
I'm assuming.
Yeah. It's so funny with the new puppy coming in. Cats are all finding new places to perch. Like, how can I get away from this dog?
As big as he's going to be, that's not going to be an easy answer.
No, it's not. But they're learning to coexist much better. The cats are not running from him anymore.
Oh, good.
Unless he's in his playful mood and trying to play with them. They're not really having any of that.
Battling allergies. No fun. Let's see. Georgette asks, when you are working on a kit that has a predominant color, such as red, would you use red thread or a neutral color? So that's a personal thing. I don't change thread when I'm piecing together a traditional top. I don't change thread when I'm putting together a FPP. I have the same neutral, like it'll be this light gray glide on the back of piecing together everything. When it comes to quilting, I've been playing around with a couple of different ideas on, like, I did the sail away. I'm thinking about quilting that in the color of each section. And so a lot of thread changes are impending or pending with that, I guess. But yeah, for putting them together, for getting all of the units and sections and all the blocks together, I don't change the threads, which is another reason why I do like to use the monofilament, because it never shows up no matter how aggressively I have ironed. But I'm definitely getting better and still ironing it really nicely flat, but not so pulled so tight where any of the threads show. So it makes me happy. The acorn stuff has helped me get better about that.
That reminds me of when my grandmother used to do my hair when she would braid my hair. She would pull it so super tight.
Yeah, that you have a facelift when you don't need one. Like any lines are gone with how tight it's pulled.
I'm 8 years old. But that hair looked the same at the end of the day that it did in the beginning of the day.
Oh, there you go. All right, so I'm moving on to a 3-color little unit now. And again, I'll do it 1, 2, 3. So it is AK is the third color, DR is the second, YW is the first. So I'll cut in order. And I'm keeping that mantra with every FPP pattern that I'm doing, cutting the first through the last piece. and laying them upside down and then flipping them over, right, one through the last piece, and pinning it, or magic clipping it, or however I'm putting them together as in a holding pattern before I sew them up. Gonna keep that so that muscle memory stays the same, and every one I'm working on will be the same. So I will know if I come back to this piece and I have to, say I have to go do something. Someone knocks on the door unexpectedly, which used to happen all the time when people would just show up, like at my grandparents' house, and people aren't allowed to just show up anymore. Like, I don't want a surprise visitor. I want to know that you're planning to come see me. But should a surprise visitor show up, like Ryan Reynolds leaves his wifey poo and decides that, yes, it is me that he has been searching for all of his life, I may need to come back to this piece, and I will always know, because the fact that I do it the same every single time, that if it's on top of and it's pinned, it's one through the last piece of fabric.
Yeah. But you're done with Ryan Reynolds, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Understood.
Yep. I gotta let him come up for air every once in a while. So I'll go into my sewing room.
That's awesome. Yeah, it has become poor etiquette to show up at somebody's house unannounced.
I do not like it. Oh, Scott Fallon's saying it's a brain teaser to start when you're so used to traditional piecing. Yep.
But yesterday I was working on the 2-color quilt. So shifting my mindset back to FPP.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a dance when you first start sewing again.
It is. And then it is weird to, so I've been doing the legit kits FPP for so long, and the way that you can use the magic white lines here on the ends of the pieces to help you line it up with the second unit you're going to sew, when you're joining them and you're sewing on this sew line, and you have these white magic lines to help you line everything up. It takes me a little bit of time to think through when I'm using other people's FPP, and when I wrote my own, I don't have magic white lines on my own. And I was like, oh, I have to like stop and think and be like, okay, how do I line this up again? So yeah, it just, when you're doing something over and over and over again.
Next one is done.
Oh
Yay!
Oh, I like the introduction of that blue on that.
I love this blue. It's pretty.
Yeah. Is that Lagoon LG?
No, it's AK, which is Breakers.
That's a very what's the word I'm looking for? Like it reminds me of like Miami Beach. Very beachy.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, my AK is not the same. It's a bright orange though. Pretty cool.
Oh, I like it.
So mine's gonna look a lot different because it's more monotone. There won't be quite as many color shifts. Well, there won't be as many color shifts because it's more monotone. Hey Terry, how are you doing? So Terry joined.
Hi, Terry.
Oh, really, Fallon? Yeah, glide works beautifully. I love it.
Oh,
Every machine has just its own personality.
yeah,
Hi, Del Marie.
that's what's been so great about YouTube is learning that because prior to YouTube, if a thread or I was having an issue with my computer, I don't my computer, my sewing machine, I wouldn't even have thought to change the thread to a different brand of thread.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
It's interesting. All of the different things that you learn.
I do like the access to and the I love the well, I guess I'm a part of that grouping now. Just that folks are so excited to share what they know that they do it for free on YouTube.
Yeah.
I learned how to change my brakes on my cars from YouTube. I learned how to change the oil filters and the air filters, like just from watching people who were so excited to say, "Hey, I know how to do this and I can help you do it too."
Yeah.
So cool. And I
So
like that.
you really
I
know
like,
what you're doing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, that is I. That's my recommendation. No matter what, watch a couple of videos.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't just take it at face value that the first person you watch is going to have really any idea of what they're talking about.
So next adventure is going to be um is it QuiltCon?
Yeah,
QuiltCon in
yeah.
February.
And at the end of February, yep. My birthday trip.
Yay.
I'm so excited. That's going to be neat. And it's going to be so much fun because so many folks are going to be there that I haven't gotten to meet face to face. And it's going to be a good time. Fallon, are you coming out for QuiltCon in Raleigh? Can't remember if you'd said you had decided you were going to or if you were not going to. I think, well, it's in Raleigh, so I'm pretty sure Russ will come up. And I think Sean said he was coming for a day. You're going to take a day trip down. Hi, Shelly C. Yes, Kelly C. Yeah. Her daughter figured out how to install a new door handle for her Pathfinder, all from YouTube University.
Nice.
I like Deco Bob too.
Yes. I was just Dagobah makes me think of Juicy, which then
Yep.
makes me think of our Juicy Mondays that we used to have.
We got to get back on the roll. I think it has to move back to Thursdays, right? Because now my I think it was originally Thursday,
Yes.
and then improv practice moved to Thursday, and then so we moved it to Monday, and then improv practice moved to Monday. There's always something.
There is. Yeah.
Got to get back on that. And now oh my gosh, Ingrid, did I even tell you this? That I bought a new car?
You can.
Okay. Yeah. So now I can look
Color.
around wherever I want to.
What color is it? That's the most important question.
It is a steel gray.
Nice.
Yeah, I like it. It is for sure a mom mobile. It's a Kia Sportage, and yeah, it definitely is a mom mobile. But I'm okay with that, being that I'm a mom. Works out okay.
Well, I mean, seriously, you need room for all of your acquisitions.
Yeah, yeah, and when I start getting like a even more of the classes ready, the lectures with guilds and retreats. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Yeah, I'm gonna need the space to put all the things in the car. So that bugger's got a huge trunk area.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Jackie, did you see Jackie's comment?
There's a typo in the cut guide. 2 fogs. One should be pesto. Color code is incorrect. Just the name is wrong. Oh, okay. Let me roll down to cut guide. Oh, hold on a second. I gotta change. Ugh. I have one mouse that controls 3 devices, and I forget to change it to the device that I need to see. Like, where did it go? Okay, cut guide for fog. Oop, went too fast, went too far.
Fog a color? Is that the name of a color?
Yes, FG. There is a typo in the cut guide. 2 fogs, one should be pesto. The color code is correct. Okay, so the fog in B1 and B2. Oh, now I gotta roll back up. B1 fog is B1D. B1D and B2A. Wait, now I'm confused. B1D, B2A. Okay, let's go back down to fog. I keep passing it. Jackie, I'm not. Yeah, TO is pesto, but on the cut guide or on the yes, fog is grayish. And on the cut guide, the 2 for fog I have is B1D and B2A. So for fog, you'll be cutting 2 pieces out of that color. Which B1D and B2A matches the assembly guide. Does it not match the pieces? Let me scroll down to the pattern. Oh wait, I'm not in the pattern. I'm in the cut guide and assembly guide. Where is, let me find pesto. Does pesto show up on? Oh, pesto. Okay. Okay. On page 11, TO says fog, should say pesto. Okay. There we go. Sorry about that. So the word is fog in page 11 and should be pesto. Sweet. Let me write that down because I will make sure, because will make updates to the download. Since it's digital, they can fix that. But let me find. Oh, here we go. Do it in here.
Oh, okay, that's good. That's not gonna alter anything that anybody has to do, which is good.
Yes. Okay, so page 11 of cut guide. TO says fog should be pesto. And now I'm hungry. Awesome. Thank you, Jackie. Look at you.
In the mood for some pesto something?
I know. now I'm hungry. Sweet.
My sister-in-law this morning made a big French toast with apple in it.
Yum.
Really, really good.
Okay, so as I was talking about when I cut, so I cut and laid them out 3, 2, 1 for this unit, 3, 2, 1. And now when I'm going to sew them together, or if I was going to just pin it and move on to the next one, because I was going to cut all the fabric for the block at one time, I would flip this over on top of my piece of paper and then throw a pin in it, or a, well, I don't have any of them handy. Throw a, not a bobby pin. It's got to be a pin. Pin it to my paper from 1 to 3, like that. And then I know I can put this aside and keep cutting. If I was just going to cut all the fabric for the one block, which I'll sometimes do, I'll know every time I come back to it when I'm done having dinner with Ryan, and I come back, this is the way that I'll need to sew it together, 1 through 3. And you have to get into, especially with all how similar some of these colors are, it can get fun. And if you don't want to have to keep going back to your color guide and trying to figure out which color did I say this was, I've found that doing this and doing it the same way over and over and over again keeps me straight when I'm sewing things together. And I just have to be really sure that when I take the pin out and I place my fabrics down to start lining up, that I lay them down in the same way I'm going to sew them, so that I don't end up like a few months ago on something I was doing. I don't remember, maybe Scully. I had accidentally like flipped it twice. So I flipped it again. So 3 was on top, and I ended up not even paying real attention because I was, as I do, chitty chatting and didn't even realize I had flipped them. And the sizes were so close because it was just, kind of like a triangle piece where there were just different triangles all the way down. Didn't even register until I was trying to put the whole block together and was like, oh, those don't match. So you gotta get yourself in the memory, in the doing it the same way. It becomes like Jenny Doan says, it becomes rote, and it just makes sense to you over and over and over again. Look at Nightbot telling us to stretch. Woo-hoo.
Great advice, Shannon.
Oh, cool, Kelly. Tell her Danny I said hello. All right. So let's get to sewing. So again, this print up is where you actually sew your pieces together. The back of the paper where it's blank is where you'll lay the pieces out. So you're placing your fabric on the back side. Solids doesn't matter. Right side, wrong side doesn't matter. You're just going to make sure that the piece that you're putting down on the paper covers the entirety of the piece that shows up on the front. And then I'm going to put the second piece. So I cut generously. for this. This is like more like a half an inch. And I don't like to trim afterwards. I don't like doing more trimming than I have to do. So I will scooch this down to where it's closer to a half an inch, sometimes closer to an eighth of an inch. And then line up the second piece with that, so that once I sew, I don't have to come back and trim before I flip. So that's why I do that. But I cut a little bit generous so that I know I have that ability. I have the extra space to make that call. So now I will sew it, and you can see that the fabric, the second piece of fabric, goes well past the piece of paper that the second piece needs to cover. So I'm comfy there. I'll flip this back over. This piece has, you're joining 1 and 2 together, and then 3 is going to go across both of those pieces. If it depends on how you like to do this and what you become comfortable with, I go ahead and start on the outside of that sewing line to make sure that the 2 pieces are locked in, and then I'll just pull the paper off that stitch and add the 3rd piece. Some people stop right at that intersection of the sew lines. Whichever you're comfortable with is the one I want you to do. What I was finding for me is that I was so nervous about stopping at that intersection that I was stopping so soon that when I sewed the 3rd piece on, there was actually a gap between that 3rd piece and where pieces 1 and 2 stopped. And then I could see that, and that I didn't like that. Like it gave it too much room. So it looked like it was like curved, and I didn't like that. So that's why, and we were talking about Juicy Juice, Ingrid. he is like on a pedestal for sure as far as FPP, and he goes past the sew line, and he's the one that told me about that. Well, he didn't tell me personally, but he said it on one of his videos, that's how he does it. And so that's how I've done it ever since. And I like the crispness of that join, but by doing it that way. There's not like a free floating section or anything. So yeah, I hope that makes sense too.
Yeah, after hearing him say that, it made a lot of sense to me, and it seems to, because I was doing that too. I'm a bit of an aggressive ironer myself, and and I was like making holes in my blocks.
Yeah.
So I go over the line. Not much, couple stitches.
Just a couple stitches, yeah. And I sew with such a short stitch length that even, pulling on the paper to bring it over, I've never like lost any stitches that way. It's not been a problem. Shelly does each piece at a time, doesn't pre-cut anything. Yeah.
You'll fall into your groove, what works for you.
Yep.
The more you do it.
I did, when I was trying to get everything done for boot camp, I did time myself on just doing it piece by piece, and then going ahead and cutting all of the fabric for each block, and then sewing it together. It was faster doing it that way. I just didn't enjoy it as much. So if I have a deadline, I will do it that way because it needs to get done. But if I'm just, doing it because I'm putting that kit together or whatever, I'm going to do it the way that I find most relaxing and not do it that way. But it was cool for my data brain. It was so cool to like time it and figure out like how much time I was saving. And it was a good amount of time too. It wasn't just like, 30 seconds. I saved so I did 4 blocks the one way and 4 blocks the other way. And on average, I saved 5 minutes per block by pre-cutting. That's a lot of time.
That's a decent amount of time. Yeah. Add that up.
Yeah.
How many
Yeah.
blocks do?
And they weren't like two pieces of fabric blocks. That's a completely different story. These were like the more, involved blocks. And that's a good amount of time. When that one block, that C block in Kraken, took me 4.5 movies. 5 minutes per block adds up.
You timed it in movies.
I did.
That's awesome.
Hi, Jim. For FBP, I use a 1.1. The average, like for what people would recommend, what I would say especially for a newbie, I wouldn't go lower than a 1.7. But for me, 1.1 just makes me very happy. Hi, Stephanie. How are you doing this morning? Hey, Darlene.
Hi, Stephanie.
Oh, Fallon won't be able to go. Okay. Oh, sorry.
No. Alan won't be able to go to QuiltCon.
Yeah.
You're saying? That's a bummer.
It's a ways away, though. And we're on the East Coast.
Um,
Ooh. Here we go. So far, oh, go ahead.
Are you enjoying your new car?
Oh, I do very much like my new car. Yeah, I like it a lot. I like that it has the new car smell. I like that there's like no remnants of teenager drivers in it. I very much like the new car.
That's funny. So are the kids allowed to use it? I know they have their own new cars, but
Yeah, they have their own cars. They're fine. Obviously, if the need arose and they had to have the ability to take my car, they could. I mean, I've used both of their cars, so I guess it's only fair. But yeah, no, not on a regular basis. They haven't yet. And it's funny, I was home, and so on my lunch break, I took Evan's new car to get his first oil change, and it was taking longer than I thought it was going to take, and it was getting to the point where I was like, okay, this is going past my lunch , I need to get home. And Evan was actually getting home from work early, and he goes, okay, well, I'll take a shower, I'll bring your car, you can go back home, and I'll wait for the car to finish. And I had a moment of, no, that's okay. That's good. You don't have to drive my car. I'll be late. I'll just, I'll say I went to go get an oil change, and that it took longer than I thought it was going to. It's okay. But I did tell him, yes, of course you can do that. That would be great. Thank you. For a moment, though, I was like,
a moment of hesitation.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Shelly, if you had to label each piece, that would totally cut down on the amount of time saved. But that's where me cutting in order one through the last number, lining them up, one through the last, that's where it saves a lot of time. I know that each piece will be set up the same for me every time I come to them. Oh, that's pretty.
This one, it's A1C.
Nice. Look at how pretty.
It's so pretty. It'll be interesting to see them all come together.
Yeah. Stephanie, what you working on today? I didn't miss anything, did I? Oh, I really like the art gallery fabrics. They're so pretty. And I'm liking the very fall monochromatic kind of action happening. I like those colors.
Do you have any plans of what you're going to do with it?
I will finish it. I'll get it quilted and all that, and then it'll become a part of the trunk show for when I'm out there husking on the streets, busking on the streets, I guess. Busking, yeah, that's what it's called. Yeah, for like guilds and stuff. It'll just become one of the things that I get to, or at a class, get to hang up on the walls to be like, ooh, look what you two can do. All right. Four piece. How many? I don't think any of these pieces for any of the different sections have more than like 4 pieces of fabric on them, which is kind of exciting. One, two, three, four. Yeah. That's kind of nice. All right, I'm gonna lay it out. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Oh, look at that. It was already laid out. Love it. Stephanie saying hello to everybody. Georgette asks, how do you organize your, oh, sorry, this silly heart is in the way. I can't see the whole, oh, there we go. How do you organize your pieces and fabrics when you start a kit? That is I think that the thought of organizing when you get a kit, of organizing that stack, like, what do I have it sitting right here? So this is legit flamingos, and this is the whole kit, and it is 96 colors that comes to you, and you're like presented with this monstrosity. This right here is 80% of the fear that you have to get over when it comes to a legit kit being given to you. And the organization of it is the satisfaction of getting it organized is just, you can't compare it to anything else. It feels so good. So the first thing I do when I open up a kit like this is to start that organization. And some folks will do it in a binder. Some folks, so they'll get like a big 3-ring binder, like 5-inch, 4-inch, whatever, big old 3-ring binder, and have those, the inserts, page protectors. That's what they were called. And we'll set it up like that. And I had done that originally. Ingrid had actually been a tester for legit kits before I was a tester with Sail Away, and she had shown me how she had done and gotten everything organized. And the organization of that works beautifully. What didn't work for me is that it kept, every time I picked it up, the organize the page protectors would like slip out of the 3-ring binder because it was so hefty, and that was driving me cuckoo. So what I started to do then was from a conversation with testers, someone showed this organizing file from Amazon. And if you see, okay, so laying it all out there, if you see links to these organizer files in my videos, I am an affiliate. So if you decide to click on that link and then you end up purchasing something, I will get like a couple of pennies for that. So I just want to make sure I say that, because if you see it and do it, I don't want you to you know, there's no, it's not, your price doesn't change or anything like that, but it does kick back to me in that way for full transparency. But since I started using these file folders, it has made the organization so much easier for me, because I can just carry this big old thing with me everywhere I go and not worry about those page protectors falling out and losing pieces, which happened a couple of times, because and then it drops, and then I have cats, and then they find what drops, and then I never find it again. So I use this and I take the kit open. I take all of the paperwork. So there are assembly guides, and I'll put all of those in one of the tabs. All the cut guides, all the color guides, all of the instructional things, and like the pictures, all of that paperwork will be towards the front of the accordion file. And then I will take however many rows of the kit has. Some have 8, some have 4, some have 2. However many rows there are, each row gets its own file, and I'll just hold all of those papers together in one location. So row A, row B, row C, they're all together. All those papers are together. And then I will do for each kit, I'll do the fabric that has come in alphabetical order. So all of the A fabrics, from the fragment size A fabric to the half yard A fabric, all of that will go in its own file section. And then so then that's it. Then everything is organized in its own location. And then it comes down to how I'm working that kit. Am I doing it nice and relaxed and not really worrying about it? Then I'll take one block out. If it's a block that has multiple sections, I'll go ahead and cut those sections out. And then I will, per section, cut the fabric, sew the fabric, and work at it that way. But there, at no point am I looking at anything more than just the one thing I have to do right then, so that I don't get overwhelmed. Because some of these are like 64 blocks. It's easy. That the flamingo one, that's a 64 block kit. It's easy to feel overwhelmed if you're looking at all of that all at the same time. So I just take, like, even with this, just 4 blocks. This is what I'm focused on. Just this one little section, one unit that I'm putting pieces of fabric on. This is what I'm focused on. This is the fabric that I have, just 4 pieces of fabric to work with. And then I move on to the next one. I take care of this. I put it where it needs to go. And then I move to the next one. So I'm never looking at the entirety of everything, just staring at you, judging you. So that's how it's worked for me. As I've been doing, oops, sorry for that. As I've been making more and more kits, I'm now moving towards, I have so many remnants of the different colored fabrics. I now am working in a file cabinet of just putting all of the colors of fabric in my file cabinet, and just going from that, and not even really worrying about is it from this kit or not this kit, because I'm building up quite the collection of Kona solids. So
Yeah,
Uh,
the more your process is going to evolve,
yep.
because I took on your system after you learned about that, and it's been a game changer. I just love the way um that it organizes everything for you.
Yeah, and I love being able to just grab that file cube thing, the little thing, and it's not a file cube, but the file accordion, and it could go anywhere. If I'm going to a sew along, if I'm going to a retreat, that whole thing can come with me, and all the things I need are in one place.
And the binder worked good with the inserts, but it's easier to get things in and out of that accordion binder that you have than
Yeah.
it is to take out of those page protectors.
Yep. Yeah.
Any little thing you can do to make your life easier? Or
Yeah. To make it faster, more efficient. You're not fumbling for stuff all the time. Yeah. Yeah, that accordion file. So, and you don't have to get that one is a 61, and I can fit two kits in that 60 thing. Um, but you don't have to get one that big at all. Again, depending on the number of kits you're doing. I have many a legit kit. I'm kind of in a different world with that. But it makes it so much easier. So Georgia, if you use it, if you try it out, let me know if it works out for you, because I think it's a lot of fun to do it that way.
some of those kits, they it depends on how many colors you're working with as well, because some kits are have a ton more colors than others.
Oh
So
yeah.
I mean, however, they all have a pretty large array of separate fabrics. So it's definitely a great way to organize your fabrics. Keep them all straight with all the colors, especially as you're adding the little pieces, as you're when you cut off and they don't all have the sticker on them. They having them in that accordion file is a great way to keep all of those little pieces together too, because some of the blocks you can use those little scrap remnants and not have to cut into the big piece of fabric.
Yep. Georgette, I just shared that link. Oh, Stephanie's not feeling well. I'm sorry.
Who's not feeling well?
I just read that that Shelly said, "Oh, sorry, you're not feeling well." I missed that. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Feel better.
Bummers.
As you can hear in my voice, I've been sick for about a week, but
This back and forth weather stuff, it's a killer.
yeah, it is. It is. It's gorgeous outside today.
Yes. I'm looking forward to my afternoon. The boys are at a football game. I just to be young again. They said November is both Evan and Diego's birthday month, and they said we're gonna go to Boston and we're gonna see a football game. So they did. They're in Foxborough right now, tailgating.
That is a great place to tailgate.
Yeah, it just makes me so happy. Like I don't know. I'm assuming that's how my parents felt too as we started going and doing things. But I just like that both of my the children I carried and the child that I inherited um just yeah, they're just out there living their lives. It's so cool. I love seeing it.
That's awesome. I didn't know that I ever did that when I was that age.
Jackie, have you finished A1F? I'm struggling with piece number 5. Okay, hold on a second. Oh, Stephanie's saying, yep, going from Ohio to Texas back to Ohio. It's just done her in.
Oh, Stephanie, I'm sorry.
Shelly S, yes. All of the fabric, the patterns, all of the instructions, all the extra paperwork, everything is in one accordion file in one spot. And Jackie, I'm going to go to F and I'm going to go ahead and work that up right now. I think I need another piece. Let's see. 1 is BU. 2 is
Jade green. Oh, it's not even, it just looks blue on the screen, but it's gorgeous.
1, 2, 3, and 4. Oh, there is a 5 one. A1F is a 5-piece one.
It's
and then I need AK again. Where did AK go? Okay. Is AK the piece? Okay, so don't look at my colors. Sorry, that is the one thing. Is AK the color, that triangle that you're having the hard time with? Hey, Donna.
Hi, Donna.
Piece number 5, triangle. Okay. All right. So let me do this one, and then I'll come back to this guy. We'll work quickly. Some rough cuts of fabric. Don't be alarmed. You don't have to do this. I'm just going to move quickly so I can get to the triangle piece that's being wonky.
Tangle Zest is asking if it's going to do custom kits of pets. I don't know that thing in.
Yeah, legit kits is probably not going to be doing that. I know that Cranky Kangaroo, who is their, like, she's their production sewist. She makes all of from very early on, the quilts that you'll see at their shows and stuff. Cranky Kangaroo made. She does have that service where she will create patterns for you, like custom done. So you might, she's on YouTube as well and on Instagram. If you wanted to look at her, she does that. But there is not enough time and not enough people on the team right now for themselves to do that. Okay, that's one.
The legit kits patterns. I can't remember what the name of it is called, but I'm going to adjust it slightly to make it look like one of the dogs that I had.
Yes.
To customize the colors just to make it look more like Leo, a Leo boy.
Which is the cutest thing.
And I did do the color conversion for that. And I have all of the fabric, but
it's finding the time to do it.
yeah, that's as far as it's gotten. I think though, once I have it all organized, once I have the fabric all organized and labeled, because for that one, I just bought the paper pattern and not the fabric.
Yeah.
The fabric kit. but you definitely have to be in a state of mind to recolor one of their kits.
Yeah, I was so glad that the woman that did Toasty in Wasabi in the greens, I was so glad she shared her color combinations, because I'm going to do it in green too.
Yeah, that looks nice in green.
I also want to do it in purples because I think Toasty looking like Spyro the dragon would be hysterical. Yeah.
Good with that.
So I think that would be fun.
Purple dragon.
Yeah.
You do green, I'll do purple.
There you go.
There are so many on the list.
I know. Never get them all done. And they've upped the numbers that they come out with. They've gotten faster. Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to slow down for here because this is the piece number 5. And I'm going to, so piece number 5. Oh, there's some birds at the door. Is just this wee little sliver of a triangle. And if you try to cut it that small, you will drive yourself bonkers. So one, for little itty bitty pieces like this, you don't have to cut it to match what you're trying to cover, because when you're trimming the blocks, and if you're adding more fabric in say this wasn't number 5, this was number 3, as you're adding the additional fabrics, you'll be trimming it down to the size it's supposed to be. Here it's this little bitty piece, and you'll be trimming all of this off when you finish this section up. So I am going to be very generous in the triangle that I cut for that wee little sliver. And I'm going to, let me open this up so it's not orange on orange. So this is the selvage down here, but I've got the seam allowance of this gray section and the leaving room for the Holy Spirit section that I do to add even more safety. And then this is the sew line. So I want to make sure that I'm past the sew line. So I'm just going to start from all the way up here and cut a triangle, a healthy triangle. Now you can take off the selvage, so you don't have to worry about accidentally having that show up in your piece. But you can see this piece of fabric covers across all of the extra out here, and I don't think you can see it, but it covers up into here more than 1/4 of an inch. We've definitely got coverage all the way around for that little triangle. So now I'm going to get the other pieces sewn on and slow down when I get to adding piece 5, so that we're making sure. A 2-inch square, perfect, Jackie. That's perfect. Absolutely perfect, because that'll give you the extra all the way around. Doesn't even have to be a triangle. Absolutely. Okay, let me not mess up how I normally do it. I'd have it stacked 1 through 5. I'm going to flip it over so I can sew 1 through 5. Starting with 1 and 2, of course.
I did that to myself, where I would do my best to conserve fabric and would drive myself crazy.
Yeah.
So,
and I understand the desire to do that. Like, you want to not have to cut off so much. but it does, it drives you bonkers because it won't lay right, or whatever. How many different things have gone wrong when you've cut it just perfect. Oh, Ingrid, Stephanie says your hair looks so pretty today.
Oh, thank you, Stephanie.
Donna's watching football with her left eye and watching us with her right.
Donna, you're so good.
Oh, you know what? I didn't need to do all that. So, okay, well, I done did it anyway. So I'll go ahead and iron this back, but I didn't have to actually do 1 and 2. I could have just done 1 and 4 and 5. Not recommended. Do it in the way that they say to do it, but because 4 and 5 don't actually intersect with anything happening up here, I can just, to get to the part that isn't looking right, I can just go right to that section. Where? Oh, there we go. Okay. So that is 3. HC is 4.
So I finished A1D.
Oh, nice. Yay.
Looks like a little sailboat.
It does.
I love the colors.
I like the jewel tones that are coming together in that section.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll open this. Get it flipperooed.
Shannon, did you Here for the Fun is saying that she purchased the Santa kit. Did you get it?
Darlene, I did get the Santa kit too. And I know that that kit, it's not FPP. So I hope that they made that really clear. There have been some questions. It's not FPP. It is the Pixel Quilt. The lady who, it was her first kit and pattern to be sold, is friends with them. She's out in Oklahoma. So it is done in like the kind of like the Minecraft setup where it's the pixels and everything, which is super cute. And I did get it. I'm so excited. It hasn't shipped yet, but
Yeah, is that a delayed ship kind of thing?
yeah. It was the pre-sale is where I did it. They had it at in Houston, which was cool. But yeah, not an FPP pattern. They're just good friends with her, and so they teamed up to release her first as a kitted project.
That's awesome.
Which is so neat. Okay, Jackie, you had the wrong glasses on. Oh, let's see. You understood it was piece. Okay, very cool. Yeah, I just want to, because you're thinking legit kits. If you know legit kits and you know they're FPP, this was, kind of a tangent. All right, so Jackie, so we're gonna start adding AK. So the triangle is gonna get added. For me, I'm flipping this back. I'm lining up the straight-ish. You can see that I didn't, cut it super straight. The straight-ish fabric with the two pieces that were already there. I'm doing my feel test to make sure that the fabric covers all the way around. Flipping that back over because this is the sew line that I'm going to sew these pieces together. But do you see, so when you can't see it as well on the camera like this, but I know I can see the seam allowance and the little bitty triangle that I'm trying to cover. And so I can tell from that the fabric is actually covering that entire space. So when I roll this fabric back up and sew it, I know when I flip the fabric over that it's covering the same space because they're both getting flipped then, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense, but we'll see it in live action. I'm going to sew this on. And even with your 2-inch square, if you didn't have these fabrics necessarily meeting, you just laid the 2-inch square and you were covering, you know, from with your square there, kind of like this, and you had the fabric covering that little triangle on both sides, and you just have this extra, and you could just still sew like that and then trim and then flip. So we're at the flip part. Sewn on. I'm gonna set my seam. I'm gonna flip it over and hit it with the magic juice. Am I still in camera? Yeah, there we go. So it's in camera. And so that is the triangle with the extra seam allowance and then some sewn to the bottom of it. And on this side, you can see that the fabric for sure covers everything, including just that wee tiny little triangle. It's so cute. The baby triangle, piece 5. Oh, all the pre-employment forms. Tammy's working on a bunch of forms. Jackie, let me know if that made sense. If I need to, I can take it apart and do it again with a square. If you want me to show you that way, you just let me know. Sorry, Ingrid, what were you saying?
I like your color choices. They look good.
It's gonna be cool. So this is the back side where the sew line is. With it flipped, it's kind of covering all that. And then I can cut it so that it's trimmed to what it should be before we sew the different sections together. And then this is what it looks like pre-trimming. On the other side. Wonder if trimming it down. Ingrid, what do you think? Trimming it down so it's exactly what it's supposed to look like?
Yeah, why don't you trim it?
Okay.
She's your question, can you turn it? But I think that's what you just did.
Yeah, I did turn it over. So now I'm gonna go ahead and trim it down so that we're looking at it in its completed state for the section of it, not the completed for the whole block, but you know what I mean.
I love my little pile of scraps when I'm working on these. It's just such a pretty little pile of.
It's so colorful.
Yeah.
There. Okay. And that's what it looks like all trimmed up. Oh, there's just way too much color going on behind it.
Nice.
So it's just a little sliver.
Okay.
Oh, it looks like yours. Okay, good. Yay! Excellent. Yay. So when we sew these sections together to finish block 1A, no, A1, it will be for this section, just the smallest little piece of AK. But when we're sewing, so this is A1F, is going to go with A1G. Which way was that? I think I already did A1G, right? This one. Yeah. So A1G also has AK. Like that. And so this AK is going to join this AK.
And live happily ever after.
And live happily ever after. And look more like this.
Nice.
Does that show up okay? Should I lift it up some?
I see it.
Okay. Oh, Stephanie, which part? I will show any part, but I don't know exactly which part. Oh, Melissa's working on Carnival number 4.
Nice. I am behind on Carnival.
Oh, training a show puppy.
Oh, who? Who's doing
That's a Southern. I've got a glare on my computer screen.
Southern
Helter? Is that what it?
HEI or HEL? I can't tell because I'm looking at my phone and it's too small.
My old eyeballs. Hider. Southern Hider.
Oh, okay.
Training puppies.
So
The piece with the tiny triangle. Yes. So this is the little baby triangle at the bottom of A1F. There we go. And so this section trimmed, that's the size that it is now. When we put A1G down here on the bottom, let's see if I can do that. Those two will meet up. And then, okay, this is going to be a real test. Then once A1G is trimmed up and A1F is added, it's going to look a little bit, well, less clunky, but a little bit like that. So that's how that little triangle adds to these two pieces. Cool.
good.
Highter. Okay, awesome. Thank you, Southern Highter. Yay. Sorry, these old eyeballs. trying to look at the chat on my computer screen off on this side. There's glare, there's small letters. Oh, sure thing, Stephanie. Oh, I'm so glad, Jackie, that it looked like yours did. So we are on the same page. And I'm going to go ahead and finish this one up since I just have to add the one piece to it now. I'm going to get this. That, and we'll add KW, oh, there we go, which is right here. Oh my, it's almost 1 o'clock. Holy cow.
And Hyder is doing the Moda block with Stephanie.
Oh, awesome. So the block heads or the modern block? Moda's got a lot of stuff going on right now.
What was the one that Soya is involved in? Didn't they sell a kit?
Yep.
That's the newer one, I think.
So it was like it came out of the kit that Soya did. It came out of the vault of Moda's vault, and they re-kitted it and made it available.
Okay.
Which is really freaking cool. I didn't get the kit, but I did get the I went on Etsy and found the pattern little flashcards that they have the pattern in, which is so cute.
I like that.
Yeah.
I was gonna get the kit just for that, but
yeah. The flashcard things, they're like $17 to $20 depending on shipping, where you find it on Etsy.
okay.
That's the next piece all done.
Nice.
Moda modern building blocks. There we go. We got building blocks all over the place.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to kind of do the last bit of housekeeping stuff because it's almost 1. I want to thank you, Ingrid, so much for joining me live.
It was fun.
Keeping me I was gonna say keeping me organized, and I just realized I didn't put my little sticky thing back on here. So keeping me organized and helping me read the chat and say hello to everybody. It's always fun to have somebody on. So I'm actually talking to somebody, not a computer screen or an iPad screen. I think I have Friday off because it's a government holiday. It is Veterans Day. Say thank you to your favorite veterans, Ingrid. And because I have that day off, I think I'm going to do a midday live where I put together the latest legit kits, Color Vortex. So I will plan a time that there are no children in the home. Or Lauren will be home too because it's a government holiday, that I'm not going to wake them up too early. Oh, you're welcome, Georgette. Goodness. Oh, that's going to be fun. Yeah. Oh, I love the cardinal. I have that one too.
Finished mine too.
Oh, yay. Oh, look at the blues. Very pretty. So I will schedule the Friday, and if you wanted to take a look at that, if you happen to have that day off, or if you have a conference call that you don't necessarily want to pay too much attention to, and do both at the same time, that would be awesome. I'd love to have you join. Saturday night, we're going to be all together on Stephanie Stitch's channel to do Village Green, the final, the end of Village Green. I'm excited about that. And get to look at everybody's colorways and the finishing up. I have not put any of the rows together yet, so it'll be just, saying, yay, this is what it's going to look like for me. But that'll be fun. And then Sunday, I'll be back on Sunday for my brunch. Probably working on. I can't work on the 2-color quilt challenge because that's going to be a surprise. So I'll probably be working on the 4S collaboration this Sunday again, and then chatting with everybody and seeing everyone then.
Jackie, is Friday your birthday? She's saying, woohoo, I can spend my birthday with you.
Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. Yay. And Jackie, you're so very welcome. Thank you so much for suggesting this. This was really good. And if this is coming up Sunday, if we want to continue on to the next or like continue to the part of putting these pieces together, we can totally do that too, because it's just, a easy breezy Sunday. I don't have a deadline to meet or anything. So just let me know, because this was a lot of fun. Oh, and Stephanie's going to get to sew on Friday too. Yay! Okay, very cool. Definitely cinched. Then I will absolutely get that scheduled and probably be around about this same time, early enough in the morning, but late enough to not wake up any 20-year-olds.
Carrie,
Oh, hi, Carrie.
she'll be spending Friday with Billy Joel and Stevie Nicks.
What?
That is awesome.
I'm very jealous. That is very exciting. That's a lot of fun. I love Billy Joel. I remember growing up and having my dad play the Carpenters in the car all the time. My kids remember growing up and hearing Billy Joel all the time. So, yeah. Billy Joel and Billy Joe. So it was either Green Day or Billy Joel. One of the two was playing. All righty, everybody. Okay, good. Jackie, let me know. Thank you all so much. Ingrid, you are the awesomest. Thank you very much. We'll see everybody on, well, Saturday. Well, Friday. Friday for the Color Vortex. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Bye,
Bye. All right, now I got to figure out again where my mouse is on what screen. There we go. All right. Bye for real. And let me do that.